and welcome to Artist in the Machine. So we've seen a lot of your work. I know you were just on the stage, so kind of just tell us what has been your experience here today.
Yeah, thanks, Don, for having me. Super excited to be on the Artist Machine stage. So my name's Coco. I'm the co-founder and CEO of OpenArt. OpenArt is a generative AI creative platform focused on visual storytelling. So we have 8 million monthly active users globally, and we are really focusing on empowering creators to express their creative vision.
That's freaking awesome. When did you start?
Yeah, so started OpenArt back in 2022, around August time. And in fact, it was a crazy time because we didn't know the whole wave of generative AI was coming because it was 3 months before ChatGPT. And then generative AI, this word wasn't even a thing at that time. And then, 3 months later, ChatGPT launched. And with all of these models and all of this innovation, and then we realized, whoa, this is something big.
Speaking of, God, the time is insane right now. Speaking of things that are big, curious, what is one thing that has surprised you this week?
One thing that has surprised me this week?
Yeah.
Okay. So, here today we're at Artist and Machine, and then I think I've met some really, really impressive people. And I think what's interesting to me, at least on this event, of course, people who are coming to this event are interested in AI. And what's really interesting to me is how a lot of businesses, they are really pro AI or leaning toward AI, because on news a lot of times you hear that a lot of people are anti-AI, which is true. However, when I come to this event, I get to talk to a lot of CMOs, a lot of people from more traditional industry. One thing that's really made me happy or very surprised is so many people, they're just trying different ways to set up the creative workflow in-house, and very interested in learning different offerings. So I do think the attitude people have toward AI in the creative industry is changing, and then people are really interested in exploring the potential.
Wow. The timing is, couldn't be better, really, to see all the different directions that technology can go. So, question for you, where do you see this all going? Actually, how about this?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see this going in a year?
A year, yes, that's a good time frame, because really now you couldn't predict too far away.
Right.
Things are changing weekly. That actually I mentioned on the stage. My bold prediction is that, let's say in 2 to 3 years, or even shorter frame of time, majority of the content on social media will be made with some sort of AI tools. It doesn't mean people wouldn't shoot real life anymore, but AI will become so easy, so accessible that it becomes one of the mainstream creative tools people would default to. Pretty much you take a photo, you do those photo editing, right? I think AI will become such an integral and a mainstream way of creation that people, majority of the content on social media, will be made with some sort of AI tools.
It feels like that right now, to be honest.
My feed feels like that.
Yeah, as you scroll through it.
Yeah.
If you had to guess a ratio to your feed today, what % do you feel is fully AI? Mm-hmm. What % is fully human?
Yeah. Well, my feed is extremely, extremely biased. I would say on my feed, probably 80 to 90% is made with sort of AI tool, and then the rest is I can tell it's live production, even though I couldn't be 100% sure either. And
right.
I think
that too.
I think it will happen a lot more, not just because people want to, it's because it's so convenient, it's so accessible. And I'll tell you some stories. A lot of creators, AI creators or AI artists I've talked to, they just didn't have any traditional, say, filmmaking or video production background. And the only reason they can become creators is because they adopt generative AI tools.
Wow. the only reason.
Yeah, because think about it. I interview our users all the time, and one of the users I interviewed, I remember, is like this 70-year-old lady based in New Zealand, and she's already retired. And what she was telling me is that after her retirement, she really still needs the creativity outlet.
Right.
And then because, well, she's never done any video editing or whatever, and then she found out about platform, and then she realized that she could make all of these cute cat videos with AI, and then she started doing a YouTube channel with like her main character, this very cute cat, like traveling around the world, doing all the like singing, dancing, and now she's a creator on YouTube. And then yeah.
So question on that, like I see a lot of creators are starting to build characters, and they're building worlds, and they're building properties and ideas. What do you think the future of creator ownership of intellectual property, what it might look like?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think fundamentally it's two things. One, there has been a lot of controversies around like whether the AI outputs, they are copyrightable, or like are they infringing any copyrights? And I do think this is a gray area that we still need to figure out.
Okay.
But then my second point is that when people create content, it's more than just this output. It's actually a lot of times the idea, the taste, the whole narrative. So the way I think about it is that like AI is just a tool, and then it assists you to like do your creative vision. Eventually, like generative AI will become as common as, let's say, Photoshop or like video editing. You just use it, and then it stops being a novelty and becomes utility.
Do you have any favorite AI creators right now?
Oh, I definitely think there are like a lot of interesting AI creators, but this morning, because of the artist machine event, I just got to know Paige.
Good friend of mine.
Yes. She showed me her Instagram page. Basically, she has this digital twin, and so a lot of her content is herself, but then she didn't do the live production. She used AI to make content of herself, and I really think it's very interesting that it's a combination between reality and AI. And perhaps in the future, everyone has their digital twins.
Right. Do you I'm so curious, do you think in the future we'll all have many digital twins, or like 5, or like 1? Like if you had to guess a number, like do you think if we let's say it's 10 years out in the future, you pulled a random creator and said and estimated how many avatars are they operating? What do you think that number would be?
Wow, it is very hard to predict because it's in 10 years.
Right.
Yes, but I definitely, I don't know the exact number, but I will say that a person will likely to have multiple characters or avatars, and a lot of them may look very, very different from what they are, what they look like, because a trend that we've observed is this trend of AI influencers. That's why we hosted the first ever AI influencer summit back in January in San Francisco.
What? I didn't know about this.
Yes, but we invited some of the biggest AI influencers, and what we noticed is that, like for example, Granny Spills, they are one of the influencers we work with. They have this pink grandma who's like very smart, but very spicy, and then behind them is like 2 20-year-olds.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very, very different from what they are. However, like a lot, like the ideas, they come up by themselves. So I think what AI empower is that you don't have to look good. You don't have to be, to be great in front of the camera. As long as you have some ideas, then AI can execute for you, and then you can have the avatars or have the virtual influencers that represent your soul.
So, I mean, I'm a big fan of that. I have many avatars that I run, some that are anonymous.
Oh, you do?
Of course.
Yeah.
Paige and I are good friends. We have a series together, and we're using our virtual avatars to be the main characters in it. Question I have is just around, do you think we're going to see any of our avatars push back on the human author?
Yeah, that is a great question. So there are, again, 2 aspects of it. One, from the tooling aspect, if you really think about these characters, I don't think they are fundamentally different from, let's say, a Disney character, all of them are made up. Snow White is made up, yet people have real emotional connection with it. And I think a lot of these virtue influencers or AI influencers, like the connection between the fan and the influencer is real. People really like them, and
Human influencer or AI influencer?
AI influencer. Actually, the AI influencer and their fans. Yeah. Yes, I think the emotional connection is real. So let's say you create a virtual AI influencer, and then let's say you talk about sustainability, right? People follow you because of the concept of the idea you talk about sustainability, right? So I think that like that that connection is real. However, it is like goes back to the second point that there is a difference between, let's say, Disney character and the AI influencer. One aspect is different is that because AI is getting so photorealistic and real right now that some people followed you not knowing you are AI influencer.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times it's okay, right? However, I do think sometimes people feel very deceived after they learned, oh, it's like pure AI influencer.
Right.
And I do think we need to make it more clear to people that it is a made-up character. That's why I see, like, for a lot of AI influencer, they would actually call out in their bio that made with AI or like AI influencer or something like that. But some people intentionally try to hide it. In my personal opinion, I do think we need to be more authentic upfront and then just say, like, this is made with AI. But I can still express my idea through this character. But I do think people have the right to know it's made up.
So do you think that labeling is required? And if so, is it the author of the content? Is it the platform hosting it? Where do you think the label should live, if there is a label at all?
Again, I think it's a gray zone right now, and I think speaking my personal opinion, I do think the creator has some responsibility to call out. However, everyone has their own opinion. You couldn't really enforce. So I do think ultimately, like probably platform should at least help the audience to understand. However, to take it to a more extreme case. Yeah. Perhaps there will be a platform like that could be part of the OpenAI in the future where all influencers are actually virtual influencers. Right. All of the influencers are AI influencers. So people come with the expectation that all of the influencers are made up. That is also a possibility.
So hearing you say that, question on just your hot take. Mm-hmm. You saw the rise of Sora 2 and the saga and then the platform.
Yes.
What is your hot take about that whole thing?
Mm-hmm. I think OpenAI has the right idea about having a sort of social media for this for generative AI, and then it really took off at that time. And then I think they were saying the amount of traction they got was undeniable. Like it had amazing traction. However, I think what is what made you not proceed is the reason that I think fundamentally OpenAI is a model company. And then if you want to run a creator platform, the logic is actually very different from running, training a model, because you need to maintain an ecosystem. You need to, for example, reward the best creators on the platform. You need to really have a flywheel running. And I think so that Sora 2, the platform, they call it Sora, seems to me more like a stage where people get to explore and showcase the power of the models. It's not a truly creator-focused platform. If you think about TikTok becomes TikTok not just because of the tag, not just because the recommendation algorithm, it's because they really truly create an environment that creators feel part of and then creators want to be in. So I feel like by the end of the day, if you want to create a platform, yes, you can leverage the technology, you can leverage the best models, but you need to focus on the people, you need to focus on the creators.
What kind of, what is a creator now?
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, how would you define what a creator is? Can it be defined?
Yeah. What's your opinion, Don? I want to hear yours first.
I feel like it's like a interswappable term.
Yeah.
But it feels like right now it's someone who's kind of it's like a creator is really like their own media company at this point.
Yes.
It's kind of how I feel. But I'm just curious, like, what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I definitely see like like my definition of creator is that is someone who has an idea and then make it happen. For example, like it doesn't matter if you're using AI tool or non-AI tools, but you have an idea, you make it happen. I think that's in my definition a creator. And then and I think generative AI or OpenAI is empowering a new breed of creators who weren't creators before because the tools were still not accessible enough, and now they're becoming creators. So yeah, like I think it's a very exciting time.
How do you get folks that really don't like AI and don't care for it? How do you get them even interested in looking at what it can do and what it can offer?
That's a great question. Have you read the book Cross the Chasm?
No.
Yeah, it's a very interesting book. Talk about these 5 stages about any new technologies. So yeah, or you have those like what's the name? Like innovators, I think, and then early adopters, and then like early majority, late majority, and then the last stage was like the rest of the people, right? And I think most of the new technologies actually follow this pattern. And some technologies couldn't cross the chasm. Like as an example, let's say I would say VR is one of the technologies that didn't cross the chasm, didn't become mainstream. But I do think generative AI is going to be one of the technologies that's going to cross the chasm. But I think currently we are before the chasm, where like most of the people who are using it are still early adopters. And so I think it takes time. I don't think people should feel forced. People should feel like, oh, I have to, or like, oh, like I have to learn it. I think eventually when you see, oh, this could solve my pain points. For example, when SMB really sees, oh, this, I could use OpenAI to really like spin up my next campaign on social media. And then if they see, oh, this can actually solve my pain point, I think they will be more open. And again, it takes a while for, all of these new technologies to cross the chasm.
Right. And that chasm can be pretty large at times, right?
Yes.
So I'm just curious, and I don't know if you can answer this, or if you want to. So feel free to skip it if you can't answer it. How, if someone develops a new character on your platform, does the platform own the character? Does the creator own that character? Or does the model company that was used for that thing own the character?
Yeah, that's a good question. So on our platform, whatever you create, you own it. So we don't claim any rights, and you have the full rights to use any of your assets.
Okay. And then can your models produce stuff that is copywritten already?
That is a perfect question, especially with a lot of people, a lot of businesses really afraid of any copyright infringement. So here's the technical answer, and then here's how we actually avoid it. No, you cannot avoid completely producing copyright infringement content. And the reason is that the models, they are trained a lot of like images on the internet, and then some of them, like do have copyrights. However, like as a platform, OpenAI, we know exactly the pain points of this like let's say accidental copyright infringement. So we developed this feature called IP safety tracker. Yeah, so after you generate image, you can say check IP safety. Then we give you like percentages, say we think 95% this could like infringe Mickey Mouse, for example, and then like 100% it will infringe Nike, for example. And then you can go out like to use it with more confidence. So we call it like safety for creativity.
And so the artist using your platform can run that at any stage or at the image stage?
And currently we only provide image, but then we also want to provide videos. Yeah.
Because I remember I had to blur a bunch of images for DreamWorks at one point because we had IP that was in like a shot for a sequence, and like they actually had to remove it. But is there a world where your model eventually will look at per frame and like look for any infringements on, at 30 FPS?
Yeah.
Like, oh, on frame 31, there is an image of a blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. That's our goal. Yes, that's our goal. Yeah, currently we only do images, but then it's not hard for us to add videos.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then I just want to mention this is we encountered this issue ourselves. We produce a lot of AI shows in-house. And then one time we actually produced a character that looks very similar to one of the Hollywood celebrities. However, none of team members actually knew it at that time. And then later someone from Hollywood pointed out to us, and then we say, crap, then we have to kind of redo the show. And we did in order to do it right. However, because of that experience, we realized that, people could infringe copyright accidentally, not even intentionally. That's the kind of inspiration for us to develop this feature.
Is there any regions in the world that you see people are getting it more? Like the creators are understanding how to use the medium better than other regions?
That's a great question. So I would say United States is definitely a big market. Like for us, like a lot of our users are in the US. But I would also say that Europe is in general, people are very, very interested in exploring the new generative AI technologies.
Fantastic. What good timing too. Like, yeah, the world's it's endless at this point. I watched a video from your platform. My friend Rourke reviewed one of your technologies, and he showed a 3D world in there. And
I knew you would say this one.
Yeah. How?
Because that video was so well made, and I think when we launched the world, we also were X News during that time.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So, did you work directly with Feifei's team on the model? Because I was looked at the splat format. I'm like, that looks like the same kind of Gaussian splat image I would see.
Yes.
So, what's it like working with other companies to build open art and make it even better?
Yeah, so open our position is we are the application layers. We don't build foundational models because we think in this world, people need all of these models at a place to really have a seamless workflow. So we work with all of the best model companies, including World Labs. And so we started this partnership back in February or I don't remember, early March or something. And then we told them our use case, which is allow people to wander in the world and then take screenshots, which we will further process to be very, very high quality. Because when you build a world, at least currently, you take screenshots, those are not high resolution enough for people to create really, production level of work.
Right.
So then we explained to them our, our use case. They got very excited. And then we started this partnership.
So let's say someone in the audience right now is watching this and they want to partner with OpenArt at that level. What should they do if they had something and they would like to partner with you? What should they do?
Yeah, we are very, very open to partnership. In fact, we have a full partnership team, which is led by Chloe. So if anyone wants to reach out or have an idea in mind, you can reach out to Chloe at openart.ai. Chloe has led some really amazing partnership, including World Labs. And including recently, we actually made an AI music video for Chris Brown. And so he dropped that music video on Instagram, last week. And then it got 1.6 million views and 5,000 reposts within 5 minutes.
Whoa, I was not expecting that number, that time frame.
Yes. We were all very impressed.
So how does Hollywood feel about you? Yeah, are they generally on board? Are they push back? What do you feel?
I think there are mixed opinions that I would say. Yeah, I think on the one hand you have filmmakers or brands that are very afraid of left out. So they would actually try their best to learn what's available and then what we can do with it. But then there's also another, extreme saying that, this is eliminating jobs for people and then very resistant. I think as many, any technologies, right? The new technologies in the past, there will always be polarized opinions. But eventually, I do think if a technology solves people's pain points, it's not stoppable.
What would you say is your guiding philosophy?
Guiding philosophy for
how you work, how you think about, you said you were at Google before and then and then now in like a research capacity, and then now you start your own company. Like what's your philosophy on how to navigate that?
Yeah. So honestly, we have 4 team values that I think, really capture a lot of my motivation. One is curiosity, and the second one is drive. And then it's like transparency and empathy. So these are our 4 team values. And then I would say curiosity is number 1 because I'm always curious about new technologies and how these technologies could create new paradigms, changing people's lives. So that's something I feel like that's very important in the generative AI space because things are changing daily, if like or weekly, and there will always be new things coming out. But in the same time, at the same time, we also have a lot of empathy to our users who, sometimes couldn't fully capture the power of models or couldn't fully understand the potential of all of this new tech. So we want to be this bridge between the consumers, the brands, the prosumers, and all of the state of the art tech.
Do you enjoy what you do?
Oh, every day. In fact, it would be ridiculous to many people, but I really enjoy weekdays more than weekend because I get to work and then there are so many people working together. And then honestly on weekend I work a lot too. But yes, I really enjoy my work.
And I guess where is Open Art based?
Yeah, it's based in Silicon Valley. So
that's where I'm from.
Oh yes,
yeah.
we
I grew up in Santa Clara.
Santa Clara, yes. We our office is in San Carlos.
Oh my God! Yeah. Okay, wow, small world.
Yes.
If you're a lot of audience members might be new students that are graduating creative schools. What message would you want to give them? If you're a new student, you're graduating junior, senior year, you're in the creative space, the world looks like it's changing.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I would say really experiment. Really experiment with all the new tools, new technologies, because things are changing really, really fast. Like in 1 year, a lot of the tools people use in industry will be very, very different from today. And I think that's the advantage of a new grad, you're new in this space. So you could even use this as your wedge into a lot of companies. You can say, let's say I'm the Gen Z who actually knows all of these AI tools. Let me teach you. And, a lot of companies, they do have this FOMO of missing out. And then so you can be, a lot of these new grads, you can be the teacher for all of them.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That is so actionable.
Yeah.
Because I know I hear that fear, but thank you for that. Yeah. And then I guess, what did you study?
Yes. So I studied computer science back in Carnegie Mellon.
Oh.
And that's why I went to Google as a software engineer. And, this is a little bit digression, but I also think the role of engineers is so different now.
Yeah.
Ever since, we have this cloud code and the coding tools in general, people just started vibe coding instead of writing code line by line. And then the productivity of engineers literally, I would say 10x. And then the demand for and designers and product managers actually increase because engineers can do so many things now. And I would say, in fact, some of the best engineers are the engineers with good product sense, with good taste, with design sense, because then this one engineer could be a designer, a PM, an engineer at the same time.
How do you cultivate taste?
Oh, that is a very good question. Because I think taste is something that really you acquire throughout time. It's not like, today you go to a museum, today you watch a movie, suddenly the next day you become your taste just becomes so much better. It doesn't work like this. I felt even because I grew up with a photographer mom. So my mom is a professional photographer. So I've witnessed her, throughout my life, how she, composed an image, how she really tell stories through through images. But then I would say even my taste during my journey throughout open art improved so much because I get to work with a lot of creatives. We have creative directors in-house. And oh yeah, I have a plug here. We are hiring creative directors. And even if you haven't touched AI before, let's say you have traditional film background, we are very, very open to hiring people without AI experience.
Why?
Because we think AI is something you can just pick up. The most important thing is your taste. The most important thing is your mindset, your idea. So let's say if you are a traditional filmmaker, you know how a good film should be. You know good storytelling. And then AI is just this tool to help you execute. So yeah, in fact, our directors in-house, they didn't know anything about AI before they joined us.
When we say directors, what are you referring to?
The creative directors. Yeah. So they, for example, they create our in-house AI shows. They also produce some of our best marketing assets, like the marketing videos. Use AI, of course, using AI.
Right.
But their previous background was more in the traditional filming industry.
Is that I guess what's the biggest myth that you're hearing then?
The biggest myth of
about the AI space?
the biggest myth. What do you think?
Well, I feel like you answered it, but I wanted to kind of pull on a bit.
Yeah.
It was the fact that you don't have to be as technical.
Right.
Yeah. So if you could elaborate on that.
Yes. So a lot of people think, oh, I need to, for example, have a PhD to do AI, or I need to really study computer science to be good at AI. Actually, quite the opposite. The more interdisciplinary experience you have, the better you could be. The reason is that all of these new AI technologies or open art itself is really, really accessible. You really don't need to be that much expert of machine learning or AI. In fact, instead, if you have good taste, if you know how to tell a good story, that's where I think you can create some really, really impressive creative work with AI. It's because fundamentally, AI is a tool. It is about how good your idea is, how good your taste is.
Do you think we're going to see a lot more good ideas or a lot more bad ideas?
Both. Because any technology will go through a revolution that a lot of sloppy work will be produced. You might have heard of AI slop, right? AI slop is there for a reason. It's because we're in this early experimental period. It's very similar when iPhone came out. You wouldn't imagine today people are winning awards with iPhone, right? Some of the best award-winning photos are taken by iPhone. But then if you dial back when iPhone first came out, right? All of these photos are random photos. You just take it on the street, and then no one will think they're impressive work. Right. But now you look, you 10 years later, even my mom, professional photographer,
right.
She would just take it with her iPhone, and then she would win awards.
Wow. What that's what I was going to ask is what is she shooting with? So she primarily shoots on iPhone?
No. She has cameras, of course. Yeah, of course, professional cameras. But iPhone is also getting her some really good photos. She would usually carry both her phone and and her camera. But then a lot of times, in order to really capture the moments, you just get to use your phone. It's very quick. And I think the same thing is happening with AI. Early days of generative AI, there will be a lot of AI slops so that people get time to experiment. But then as time goes by, the quality will improve, the tech will improve, and eventually, probably next year even, AI films will be winning awards.
Do you think we'll see an AI actor get an award?
Oh, yes. That's another thing. Again, so we also worked with one of the famous AI actor, Tilly Norwood.
Oh,
if you
did?
know.
Yes, of course.
Yes. She also came to our AI Influencer Summit. Yes. Yeah. And, I had a conversation with her. She's a really lovely lady because she was an actress herself. So this Tilly Norwood is kind of AI version of herself.
Wait, talk to me about that, because I thought there was a team that made her.
Yes, there is a team, but then she is the main protagonist.
Okay.
She's the founder of Tilly Norwood, and Tilly is more like a AI representation of herself because she was an actress before.
Oh, okay. Really controversial question.
Yeah.
In the 2030s, do you think avatars are going to have rights?
Have rights. That's a great question. I think possibly. I can see both sides, like pro and con. Pro, I think, one, I think it really depends on how the avatar is made. For example, down, you can make an avatar of yourself. I do think that is like IP licensable because it's based on down and then you are the creator behind it. Like your look is very unique and then you can license it to others. The thing that's slightly tricky is that if it's purely made out of AI, like can this be, licensable?
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, I would say it depends on the process.
Right.
I think the more work you can show it involves human creativity, the more likely it can be licensed.
Do you think humans are awesome?
Yes. Why not? I really think, again, like back to my point about AI are the tools. They are the ones that assist the humans.
Okay, yeah. I always just ask because, like, sometimes I hear rooms where, like, I don't know. Did you hear that clip from the Suno CEO? He's on a podcast.
Yeah.
It did not age well, his comment about, I think he said, like, no one enjoys making music. And he had this whole quote about the process of making music. No one wants to do it. And all the musicians went up in a roar. They're like, we love the process of music. That's actually what we enjoy.
Yes.
And it was like a major disconnect from the technology and the leaders with the technology and the actual artists using it.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, like, do you see more human creators making films or more AI automations making films? Or both? I guess I don't even know what that means, to be honest.
Yeah, you mean the AI? So again, I think it comes down to like first, I think humans' vision and idea. It's the thing that like is the biggest thing that determines whether something is good or not. I think it comes with a human idea, and then the second part is about execution. So what you are asking, Don, is that how much of the execution will be like human process or automation, and I think it has both. The reason is that like today, if you use like AI or generative AI to make an AI film, a lot of times people are sorry. Yeah, a lot of times people are spending time in hitting the generate button, like regenerate in order to get that good image to put in the frame. So I definitely think that boring part needs to be automated.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I don't want people to sit there, just press the button, that right? So I think that part can be automated and then can be more agentic so that, for example, like instead of you like spending so much time like writing the prompt or like hit the generate button, like think about you go to grab a cup of coffee, you came back, you see like 100 images. Then you do the curation work. You say, okay, among these 100 images, what is my favorite? And I should choose this, I should choose that. And I think the curation work is the one that humans should do instead of wasting your time hitting the generate button.
Coco, thank you so much for your time and for being here on the stage. And it was a pleasure meeting you and very excited to see more from Open Art.
Yeah, thank you, Don. Thank you for having me.